future of housing look like to you?
Future of housing shall focus in building communities that are socially, economically, and environmentally sustainable. I believe future housing design shall embrace a more sustainable way of living. So it's not only sustainable design, foster a more caring community by integrating different user and age groups, and also create shared community space that promotes social interaction.
Your work emphasizes integrating AI and big data into your architectural design. How do you see these technologies transforming urban living spaces, particularly in densely populated cities like Hong Kong?
For example, Hong Kong always have an insufficient land supply, and especially right now, population aging, and we expect that there will be more elderly people in the next 25 years. So it makes our current economical model of mass ownership impossible in the long run. That means that we would need more small apartments. We would need more people, especially the aging population would be living alone, and apartments larger than they need. And so we're looking into how to reinvent housing model, and hence also the birth of the co-living model. And how it relates to the AI and data strategy is that with AI, we would be able to build what we call the quantified community. We have been focusing on human-centric and user-driven design. So by using a modular approach and how we can design flexible modules that are adaptable to change, and hence with the dimension of people, time, space, and activities, we are looking into a matrix of design scenarios to enable the flexible use of land, building, and space. And when AI and data comes in, that means that we would be able to monitor how the space are being used. And by designing the flexible modules to begin with, then the space can be adapted to the different scenarios, whether it's, like the community are using it, there is daytime and nighttime use, and also like different user groups can use the space differently at different times of the day. So that's how we would, look into how we can define the quantified community design.
Do you think this could be adaptable to other parts of the world as well?
Oh, definitely. And because I think like housing problem and also the changing lifestyles are actually universal problems or issues to everywhere, like different countries. So a lot of these are actually models that have been studied also in Europe, in America, of how we can reinvent a new housing model, a new way to live. Hence, like a lot of co-living ideas comes up with different ways to design and different ways to consider how we can like live the space, and also like how we can use the space more efficiently.
So given your experience with co-living projects and adaptive reuse of buildings, what role do you believe these concepts will play in addressing housing shortages and promoting sustainable urban development?
I think they are like in co-living, we consider, like I was mentioning earlier, how we look into user-driven design, and also the different modular space design. So like nowadays, when we look into how we can create more compact, walkable neighborhoods with integrated transport facilities and green spaces, community engagement, etc. But there are always challenges of how we can look at urban design with a new lens. The challenges when we work on our project is how we consider hardware and software. So we always, as architects, we're always thinking of just like hardware, the space, whether it looks pretty, but what matters a lot are also the software. So nowadays we hear more about stakeholders' involvement, operational management, and this sometimes can work back in hindering the way we can design. So in co-living, we actually have more flexibility because it has a slightly different operational model. There's also more active involvement in terms of the residents, or like what we call stakeholders, and the community. So it is important, and also it is critical to establish like the strategies and the guidelines, and then like it could actually be implemented not only in planning on paper or policy, but actually in terms of execution and how the building and the community can be managed throughout the process. And then secondly is I think a lot of the challenges are also, you know, when we mention about how we can design like more livable cities or like smart growth, for example. But we have missed the opportunities in looking at urban revitalization. So the most compact, accessible design can actually best be achieved with working with existing neighborhoods, existing communities with the infrastructure already in place. So I think these are all like, you know, areas that our practice have been looked at more like seriously. And then lastly is I think in terms of like urban planning, we look at co-living of different cross-generational living. And when it applies to like bigger scale, how we can design different modules. And these modules can be indoor and outdoor, and how we can design the urban living public space. So we have in plan what we call urban devices. So we can recreate the city, community, and market space, also like street alleys kind of environment. And because we believe these are all very important for a livable community.
So I think this final question ties into what you were saying before, because I like the idea that you refer to residents and community members as your stakeholders. I think it kind of shifts the perspective of who these people are in the ecosystem. So you've worked across various across various regions with various cultures. How do you incorporate local community needs and cultural context into your designs to ensure they are both innovative and contextually relevant while focusing on some of the other things that you mentioned just now?
I think, as I mentioned earlier, housing is all about people. So everything is people related. And so in our design, we have studied the different users, personas, and that also relate to the different households composition. For example, in the 60s, maybe half of the households include married parents with children, and only very little number are single with no children. But that's all changed right now. You have a lot more single people living alone, whether they're elderly or they're just people preferring to be single, or married couples without children, because of the late marriage and the low birth rate. There are also more dual earning families and single parent households because of the divorce situation. So all this actually formally a very different social structures and family structures. And however, when you look at the way we design, you realize a lot of the residential developments are still catering to a very particular way of living. And in this sense, when we're doing a lot of the co-living projects, it actually free up a lot of potentials in rethinking the residential prototype or how we live. So how we can accommodate the cross-generational needs. For example, in China's culture, which we also have done a lot of project in the kind of like the Chinese culture or Asian settings, where family used to play a big part in terms of how we consider home. But now we realize with the what we call the little sunshine generation, that like there are not a lot of little kids, and so like the whole family focus would be on the children's generation with like education and all their well-being. And at the same time, we mentioned about like the aging population. So the elderly generation also have specific needs, and how we can combine the needs of both sides to create new spatial modules that accommodate each family member's needs, especially when even this family structure would be evolving through time. When the kids are smaller, we might have different needs, and then when the kids are in preteens, teens, and then when they get off to college, then we actually need to accommodate a different family structures, even like inside the household. And then another perspective is the mobile generation. So now with the, like the use of mobile and the digital nomads travel, how we can incorporate smart technology and the sustainability ideas into the residential design are also very important, because that's exactly how we can design the homes that can accommodate the new way of living. So sometimes, like we say that, like how we can encourage, like parents are free, family are free, and the line of sight are free, meaning like how we can accommodate the different personal needs according to the different schedule because of the mobile generation, how we can have new family habits. Like for example, now it's more about kids, pets, new type of family activities, because we no longer sit in front of a TV and watch a TV show together. Maybe it would meant to be different type of family activities. Maybe you're doing homework together. Maybe you're actually playing games together instead of watching TV together. How we can look into also storage. Storage is actually a big part at home. So how we can reimagine like different ideas of how we use and store our things. And again, it goes back to people, our needs, and the flexibility. And so if as long as we can design things modular and flexible, then we can be able to accommodate all these changes in a quicker way. And I think that's what we are facing in the digital age, that things are moving a lot faster than before. So we need to be able to design actually to accommodate all these like rapid changes in the society and in the family households.